I want to talk a little bit about craft because, to some degree, this podcast and a lot of the work I do with writers is kind of anti craft. Although, let me be clear by what I mean about that. Craft is very important. And I myself, I take a lot of pleasure in the close attention necessary, the kind of the amount of close attention I have to pay to my stories for them to come out the way I would like them to. I spend a lot of time fussing over commas and semicolons and em dashes and just a lot of time asking myself, could I say this with fewer words? And is why isn't that as vivid as I want to be? And is that what I really meant? And if it isn't, how can I capture it? And how can I get this sentence, this paragraph to flow in a natural way from sentence to sentence? All of this is craft. And a lot of the craft I've learned is also a lot of the craft I've learned. Ha, a lot of it has to do with what not to do, you know. A lot of craft is what we don't want to do. Don't rely on adjectives and adverbs. They're not as powerful as nouns and verbs. Don't rely on descriptors in dialogue. In other words, she said vociferously, he said angrily. Don't rely on those. Ideally, the emotion is contained within the dialogue itself. And there's a lot of subtle stuff, particularly for the kind of essays and personal narrative I write, that I've learned that just doesn't work. I learned that better to find a story to illustrate the thing I'm interested in than just sort of talk about it. Okay. So a lot of the things with craft is learning what not to do. And all this is very important. And I want you to learn it too. But the reason I focus on everything that comes before craft is that all these decisions I'm making, all the massaging of the paragraphs and the commas, all of that assumes I am asking myself, what is it I want this story to be? And I'm not asking myself, what do I think someone else would like it to be? And so, and which is the wrong question to ask, as I have mentioned frequently in this piece. But more to the point, I want to talk about that moment at the end of a period, end of a sentence when we don't know what's coming next. And that can be a even if you aren't sitting around wondering what people will think of your stuff, because if you do that in terms of craft, like just like there are things that don't work from a craft standpoint, that question does not work. What do other people think of it? You can't answer that. You can only ask yourself, what do I think it? What do I want it to be? But let's say you're not asking that poisonous question of yourself and you're writing your story, but you come to the end of a sentence and you don't know what's going to come next. And I've talked about this moment some in this podcast, but it's such an important moment. You don't know what's going to come next, but you can feel the story wants to be something. As you wait there, as the cursor blinks there at the end of your sentence, you know you want to keep writing, but you don't know what the next sentence, the next idea will be. But you know you are still interested in this story. And so you must be able to wait with an open heart, with a curious mind for something that you cannot yet see. You have to have faith, really. Faith in what will come, even though you can't see it yet. And all the craft in the world is not going to help you invite that idea. Once the idea has come, then you apply your craft to it and translate it onto the page. But the waiting for the idea to come, that's not craft. That's mindset. That's faith. That's belief in something you can't see, but trusting in the feeling of the desire to express more, the desire to continue this story. Craft won't take care of that. Only you and your belief in your own interest, your belief in your own curiosity, your belief in that feeling that you have that you're interested and that feeling alone matters. That you don't need to prove that that feeling is valuable. You know it is. So, yes, learn your craft. Learn it. You got to have it. It's what you need once ideas come. But spend just as much time learning how to sit there when you don't know what's coming next. Sit there with curiosity in your heart, trust and faith in your heart, and know that if you can resist the temptation to doubt the idea will come, if you can resist the temptation to question your ability, but stay open and wait, the idea will come, and then you can apply all your craft to it. That's how it works. Yeah. Hey, thanks for listening. As always, hit subscribe. That's how you'll know. And if you like it, say so. I like to hear from you. So until next week, this is Bill Kenower. Stay fearless.